Okay, a lot going on here. In New York sports, we're here to cover it all. We got Rangers, we got Islanders, we got Knicks, Nets, Jets, Giants. All four, not four, but all three of the major sports, since baseball is kind of dead right now with the Mets and Yankees. Give me 1 second here to fix one setting. Should have did this before, but that's all right. Okay, think that should do it. But okay, here we go. Let us start off with the Rangers because hockey doesn't get enough love, and neither do the Rangers and Islanders here in the city. But the Rangers look awful. I mean, that's just the easy way to put it. Is the Rangers just look like an awful hockey team right now? So that brings up the question of should the Rangers trade Panarin if things continue the way they are? And I don't think it's an easy answer because obviously, if the team's not doing well and you have a contract expiring, it's easy to say, yeah, trade him. Trade Mika, trade Panarin, trade whoever you could in order to rebuild the franchise. But here's where it becomes tricky. It becomes tricky because the Rangers have put themselves in such an awkward position now to where you traded Kreider. You didn't re-sign Keandre Miller. You traded Kako, and you made all these departures, which is fine. Okay, I'm not saying I necessarily disagree with any of those, but then you go and sign a guy like JT Miller or trade for a guy like JT Miller and name him captain. So when you do something like that, that indicates that we are still trying here. You don't sign a 38-year-old and name him captain and trade for him if you don't plan on being a good hockey team. I mean, that's just 100% the truth. And Chris Drury probably believed that this was going to be a good hockey team. Somehow he believed that, but that is what the thought process was. Now you're in a position where you suck, and everyone kind of had that feeling of they might suck, bouncing off of last season. And now what do? Again, easy to trade Panarin, but if you believe that you can compete, why get rid of him? One of the best offensive players in hockey at his best. But when you lose to bottom feeder teams, that's the thing with the Rangers right now, losing to bottom feeder teams, guys. Flames and Sharks. You're losing games in overtime to the Sharks, to the San Jose Sharks, who shouldn't even have a team. You play in San Jose, California, should not have a hockey team. Yet they do, and they're beating the Rangers in overtime, the New York Rangers in overtime. Offense has been terrible. There's no attack whatsoever. If you ever take the time to watch a Rangers game, which I don't recommend you do, but if you do, you turn on the game, and they never have the puck. They quite literally never have the puck. There's no offensive attack at all. It's get the puck, wrap around the net, pass to the point, weak wrist shot, miss the net, turnover. Other team has the puck in their zone for about 35 minutes. Rangers, if the Rangers Flames game was just absurdly bad. The Rangers, on a power play, they didn't let up the second shorthanded goal, but they let up a shorthanded goal within 30 seconds. Flames are going the other way on a 2-on-1. On our power play. On your power play. They're going 2-on-1 on your power play 2 times within 30 seconds. Again, zero offensive attack. Panarin looks like he does not want to be there. Rangers have a lot of problems that they have to fix right now, very early on in the season, or it could get very out of hand as they already are sitting in last place. On the other side of town, the Islanders look not completely different than the Rangers, but I'll tell you, a whole lot better. That's what they look, a whole lot better. Islanders look like they're going in the right direction, at least. That's what it looks like. Schaefer's been amazing. For an 18-year-old kid to just step up like he has is very impressive. And that brings up the question for the Islanders of can the Islanders compete this season for real? I think that's an easier answer. I don't think they are ready to quote-unquote compete. But I think they're in a position now to play good hockey. Whether that means a first-round exit, it depends on what you define as competing. If a first-round exit and making the playoffs in a year like this, I think that would be unbelievably successful season for the Islanders comparative to what their expectations were going into the season. So for them to even make the playoffs would be amazing. And I think they just might. They could sneak in. If they don't, if things continue like this, like how they're playing right now, and they miss the playoffs by a couple points or a couple games, I don't think it's the end of the world. I don't think anyone expects this team to win the Stanley Cup. This is really not a championship team just yet. But they have the pieces because now with Schaefer coming up and you have veterans in that clubhouse like Horvat and Barzal, like they have guys. They have guys that have been there and are good hockey players. So when you have a locker room full of young guys and veterans and you mesh those together for just a year or two, things start to click. Already starting to click for the Islanders within that first 10-game period. Those losses they've had, they've been close games. They haven't really looked too uncompetitive in any of them. They look like they're having fun. They look like they are having fun. They're playing loose, playing like they don't have much to lose, and they really don't. Because again, this was supposed to be a year in which you are looking at evaluating what you have. You rebuilt the roster a little bit, got Schaefer. Still have those vets like I was talking about. So, that's now a time where you evaluate your talent and move forward. And that's what it looks like the Islanders are doing. And they're on the right trajectory, for the next couple of seasons. Other than that, both with the Rangers and Islanders, very early on into the hockey season. So we have to see what happens. I don't want to judge too much of the Rangers or Islanders because, again, we are, 8 or 9 games in now. So, we will have to see. On to football with the Giants and Jets. Poor Giants, man. Poor Scattaboo. So the Giants lose Scat, and I think that is obviously a massive loss for this franchise at this point in time. Could possibly be back at the end of the year, most likely not. I'm going to say that he doesn't play. I'm no doctor. I am just a 24-year-old guy that watches football in his basement. So I can't tell you if he's going to come back this season. But what I can tell you is this. I can tell you that Jackson Dart is good. Okay? Because when the question to me is asked of can Dart compete as a Giant for the rest of the season without Scattaboo and Dart and Neighbors, yeah, I think they could. I really think they could. I think this is where we see where Jackson Dart This is where we see what Jackson Dart is made of. Because you lost Neighbors and you lost Scat. Now we have to see. Listen, if he does bad, this is a win-win situation for him. Because if he does bad, really the blame is not him. You just lost your two best offensive players for the entire season. So he's working with Wan'Dale Robinson and Darius Slayton, who I can't believe still has a job in the NFL, and Lil Jordan Humphrey, which might be the best name ever. But regardless of all of that, Jackson Dart, now this is the test for him to see, is he really that guy? And what I mean by that guy is, for the most part, those elite level quarterbacks, like the Mahomes of the world and the Allens and the Jacksons, all three of those quarterbacks that I just named, not one of them has a big receiver. Literally not one of them. They have some guys, but no one near the top 15, 20 in receivers in the NFL. So if Dart is really going to be that elite level guy, it shouldn't be a problem losing your offensive talents. Will it be much harder for him? Yes. Will I blame him if they are losing games and things aren't going his way? Absolutely not. He doesn't have to be a star right away. He's a rookie. All I'm saying is, if he continues this rate of success without these offensive stars, it is clear that he himself is the star. I mean, Neighbors said it a couple years ago that their quarterback wasn't the issue, but I don't know how much I agree with that. Because Dart has come in and kind of fixed a lot of their issues. Granted, they're still losing games. We'll talk about that, but they're still losing games, but they look okay. They look competent. And that's really all, like I've said last week, that's all we're looking to see. A competent football team that is going to look good in the near future. That's all we're looking at. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, if you think losing is a bad thing, regardless, because the goal is to win, I understand where you're coming from. But you also have to understand that this Giants team was never winning anything. Never winning anything. So now you're just looking to see, is Dart your guy? Because once you found a quarterback in this league, you are on the way to success. Just like the Ravens and the Bills and the Chiefs and the Commanders and the Eagles. Look at no good team has a bad quarterback. I mean, it's that simple. The recipe for success in the NFL is to have a good quarterback. If the Giants have that, they shouldn't have a problem with whoever they throw out there. I mean, on top of all that, though, Giants can't catch a break. They really can't catch a break. I mean, it seems like nothing goes right for this franchise, even when things are going right. Even when things are going in the right direction, they still can't go right. Things just won't go right. The football gods have to punish the Giants for beating Tom Brady twice in the Super Bowl. It's got to be that. There's no other explanation. The football gods said, you get to beat Brady 2 times with Eli Manning, and then you actually never get to smile ever again. Is that a deal you take? Probably. Yeah, I'd probably take that deal to beat Brady twice. Be honest with you. In all seriousness, though, I mean, what's the problem? Like, how does this keep happening? It doesn't really make any sense at all to me as to how the Giants could lose just everyone, even when they're not playing on the MetLife turf. Constant injuries for years. This has been going on for 15 years. Everyone is constantly hurt. OBJ dealt with it. Any offensive player they've had in this uniform has dealt with it. Off to the Jets, excuse me. The Jets win. The Jets win a football game. The Jets have won. Okay, maybe you didn't hear me. The Jets have won a football game. The New York Jets, you know them? They won a football game, baby. 0-7. Time to go 10-7. They did it for Mangold, is what people are saying. In all seriousness, though, I have a quick story about Nick Mangold. Um, my cousin was at Super Bowl 49, I believe it was, or 48, whatever the number was. It was Broncos Seahawks in MetLife, freezing cold. And before the game, there's obviously all the celebrities and players out, but my cousin's a huge Jet fan. God, I don't know how, but he's a huge Jet fan. And he actually had the opportunity to meet Nick Mangold. Now, it wasn't me that met him, so I can't speak for him. But I remember him saying that he was nothing but a nice guy. He took the time to take a picture with my cousin and his father and talk to him for a little bit and whatnot. But from stories you hear from around the league and Rex Ryan, I'm sure you guys heard, it's very sad. Truly is. A Jet legend, one of the great personalities in the sport at that time. And on top of that, a great competitor and a great player. Teams were always in for a treat when Mangold was in. So a big rest in peace to Nick Mangold. Prayers go out to him and his family. On the topic of the Jets, though, they played a great game. Fields looked amazing for once, which I guess a lot of people in the comments might get at me because I said last week, verbatim, I said Justin Fields might be the worst quarterback in NFL history. And then he puts up a performance like that where he looked great. Granted, they were playing the Bengals, okay? And they had the spirit of Nick Mangold with them. I truly believe that. In terms of Fields being good, he's not, okay? He had that heartfelt message at the end of the game, and I felt bad for Fields. He said he was just praying, just let us get one. He was crying and praying, just let us get one. And there's nothing wrong with that. I never said I disliked Justin Fields as a human being. He's dealt with a lot of negativity in his NFL career, a lot of hate, a lot of bouncing around, a lot of teams giving up on him. So I understand how this could be very difficult for him to step into a place like New York City, of all places, and start off 0-7 and have to listen to schmucks like me say he's the worst quarterback in NFL history. I understand that could be a lot mentally on someone. So he had a great game. But I will stand by the fact that he is not obviously the answer long term. That they were maybe hoping, very slight hope that he maybe could be that answer, but he's not. He's just not. It's that plain and simple. Regardless, it's nice to see a Jets win because they were, again, 0-7. Get ready for 10-7. The comeback starts right now. 10-7. New York Jets. Book it. Book it right now. If you're a Jets fan, just stand up. Listen to these words and no. That's probably the only game they're going to win. On the topic of the Jets, though, I personally think Aaron Glenn has done a god-awful job this season. I think he's handled the media terrible. I think he's handled the team terribly. I think he's managed the clock terribly. I think Fields should have been out 5 weeks ago. I think there's been a lot to point at and say he's doing terrible. He also can't do too much when the team is this bad. So I guess my question is, are the Jets forced to keep Glenn after this year due to him being a rookie coach pretty much? Or is it okay that they part ways with him? Personally, I think it's okay if they part ways with him. I really do. If they want to give him another year next year to see what goes on. I mean, and listen, this season's not over yet either, so I'm talking a bit early here, but their season is pretty much over, so that's why I'm talking about next season. But with that being said, I think Glenn has shown already that he is not a head coach in the NFL. Maybe a defensive coordinator. Even that was questionable last year. But again, I won't be angry if he's the head coach of the Jets next season, because he hasn't really shown. I mean, he's not given much to work with. We'll put it that way. He has not been given much to work with at all. All right, and to wrap up, we have basketball because we're not doing baseball because both baseball teams have been absolutely pathetic. Um, we'll start off with the Knicks. So the Knicks should be the team to beat in the Eastern Conference. That's that shouldn't be really debatable either. No Tatum the whole season, no Halliburton the whole season, and the Bucks are Heat, whatever. Like there's just a lot of whatever teams I like to call them in the Eastern Conference this year. The Knicks should be the favorite, which I can't believe I'm saying that. I can't remember the last time that I said that the New York Knicks are the favorite to come out of the Eastern Conference. I don't think I've ever said that ever in my life, actually. But here I am right now in 2025 saying that the Knicks are the favorite to come out of the East. And I truly believe that, too. I really don't think it should even be much of a debate. I don't know what team should be the quote-unquote favorite. I mean, the Knicks, they look like the best team in the Eastern Conference. It's 4 games in. They're 3-1. I understand that. But they look like the team to beat. On paper, at least. I'm not saying through their play. Taking it back to that Heat game on Sunday, though, in Miami. Last year it was, we got to stop playing the starters all game. Now it's, where's Brunson? Put Brunson in. Why are you taking Cat out? So pick a side here, people. Do you want them to play the whole game? Do you not want them to play the whole game? And if they don't play the whole game, it just doesn't, it's crazy to me. Everyone has an opinion. Everyone's a critic. So am I. That's why I'm sitting here in a basement with a podcast mic doing this. But everyone has an opinion. And my opinion was to never let, they should have never let Thibs go. And I'm sorry. Play the starters. They get paid to play basketball. If that means they have to play 40 minutes, they have to play 40 minutes. And look at that. The Knicks were 1 game away from the NBA Finals, and you fire your head coach because the players are playing too much and they're getting tired and hurt. Right, so now the alternative is to sit Jalen Brunson for the entire end of the third quarter and start of the fourth quarter, and then while he's on the bench, the Heat grab a 16-0 run, and they blow you out, and then that's it, game over. It's 1 loss. I know I'm overreacting, but I don't want to see this throughout the season. The load management kind of play. That's what made the Knicks so good last year. They came at you with their stars, and they left them in, and they said, try to beat us. And it was very hard for teams to do that. Again, 1 game away from the NBA Finals. Just 1 game. But other than that, no, not really many complaints with the Knicks. Off to the Nets. What a complete debacle. My God. They look terrible. Winless so far, 0-3. Play tonight or either tomorrow night. I could be wrong. But what is the Nets' future looking like? Like, are they the worst team in the league? Second worst team in the league? Top 5 worst team in the league? And, I feel for all my Net fans out there. They tried, man. They tried. Kyrie, KD, Harden. I know you don't want to hear it anymore, but they tried. It failed really bad, and it just set them back maybe 10 years. Now, I know you could look at their roster and say young talent, and they traded for MPJ, and Cam Thomas isn't bad, and they have some sort of talent on the team compared to other teams. But the way I view it is they're young, but I don't see any star potential in any player in their lineup. Like, I'm talking a star. And in the NBA, you need a star. I'm sorry. You can argue with me all day that, if you play as a unit, you don't need the superstar. You do. You need a superstar to compete in the NBA, especially nowadays. I think in the near future, they'll be good at best. Like, they'll be a good team. like a 5 seed maybe is their ceiling over the next 5 years. But again, they're young, but with no, like, who's that piece that you're like, all right, like, wait for him to develop? Like, they don't have one. The state of Nets basketball is and probably always will be pretty sad and pathetic. Just like most of these sorry ass franchises I'm talking about today. But the Nets have a lot of work to do this season. I don't expect them to win many games. I'd say the over under is maybe 20, and I'm probably taking out a mortgage on the house and betting the under. Maybe not that bad, but who knows? They really might be. They really just might be because they are not a good team. All right. I will try to go live more. I know I didn't really have anyone watching this one. But in the near future, I will try to stream at better times and have you guys more involved if you are a fan of the show. Um, so, yeah, this has been another edition of Five Borough Sports, and we'll catch you next time.